Welcome back to Turning Hard Times to Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm really pleased to have Jim Greig with me again. He is the president, director, and is also on the audit committee of Benchmark Metals. And this is a company that I own shares in. It's been a recommendation in my newsletter. It's one of the most exciting stories that I cover. And so I'm really pleased to have Jim with me again. Thanks for joining me, Jim.
Always a pleasure, Jay. Thanks for having Benchmark on board.
Well, yes, indeed. And, it's a happy time because you've been announcing some very good news, one that certainly caught a lot of the investors' eyes a couple of weeks ago now or not, but just recently, 57.91 meters of over 3 grams per ton on your lawyer's property. But I guess before we get started, I should tell people that your stock trades BNCH in Canada. You can buy it down here in the States as I have under the symbol CYRTF. 119,133,000 shares out. That's before you do a financing that you're expecting to do. Probably bring in another maybe close to 10 million shares. So at $1.10 in U.S. money right now, so it gives you a market cap around 130 in U.S. dollars. Good start, Jim, and really some really exciting news. So. Let's start out by, what do you think is the most important that people hear about first? I mean, obviously that 57.91 meter intersection of 3.05 grams per ton, that was a gold equivalent number at lawyers is big news, right?
Yeah, it's very good. One of the major sort of news flow items and results that we have coming from now right through to probably December period is that there were 5 drill rigs turning at this site. They're producing some very good big numbers. What we're seeing in the core visually looks very appealing, in line with what we saw during 2018 and 2019 drilling. So we expect these results to fully support a large mineral resource that would come out in Q1 of next year. So approximately 5 months' time, we hope to have a large multi-million ounce gold and silver resource published.
When did you say it is, Jim?
So that would be Q1 of 2021.
2021.
So I'll say approximately 5 months from now.
You do have a resource now, I believe.
We do. We have a small resource that was built on historical data from over 2 years ago. But since that time, we've completed an awful lot of work. We've advanced the project. We understand the geology much better. We can see where zones are trending. We see that zones are open at depth and on strike. But the biggest change here from when this small project was a producer 30 years ago is we see potential here for 3 large open pit resources. So that's gold and silver ounces right at surface. And it's very, very good grade at surface. And on top of that, we did announce some exceptional metallurgical results there last week. And for your viewers who don't quite understand what metallurgy is, it's essentially the science of recovering the gold and the silver from the rocks that hold it. And what we're seeing here is recovery rates from these rocks that are well above average. They're in the 95% recovery rate for gold, and they're trending into the 90s in some areas for silver. So, that's a big milestone to show that science shows that we can remove most, if not all, of the gold and silver from this rock.
And what about environmental concerns, Jim? Are there any? And because those are always, that's always something you want to be aware of as early as possible. That is excellent news on the metallurgy, but with regard to that?
Yeah, so we're advancing what we can on the environmental platform. From a permitting standpoint, we have completed First Nations agreements with the bands or the First Nations that are within our region. So that's a big check mark to this project. It shows that we've got support from the First Nations communities surrounding the area. We have also begun baseline environmental work. That's also another big step towards permitting and advancing the project. So we anticipate no big hiccups or issues with the environmental side of things, but we are paying attention to it. We're looking towards environmental studies as we go forward here, and building this mine in an environmentally friendly but a sustainable method at the same time.
So your resource now is not a 43101; it's a historical resource. It
is a 43101, based on historical numbers, and it started at approximately 100,000 ounces. But what we're seeing now with the work we've done and the validation of historical drilling, we do indeed believe, and there's good evidence to show that we're heading towards multi-million ounces here on the next mineral resource estimate.
Yeah, I mean, you've publicly stated that your goal is to outline at least, I think, 5 million ounce gold equivalent resource, right? I think I saw you.
That's right.
Publicly stated. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that would be our ultimate target. That will take a few more drill campaigns. But I think what you'll see in Q1 of next year is a global resource that reports from 3 open pitable zones. They're all slightly different to one another, but one we provided called the Cliff Creek Zone. We provided an exploration target of 1.9 million ounces that graded 1.7 grams per ton. And that does not include 2 other zones that have some exceedingly good drill numbers across it. So our resource estimate would include the Cliff Creek Zone, the AGB Zone, and the Dukes Ridge Zone, and they're all within close proximity to each other.
Yeah. So are we talking about an open, you said open pit. So we're talking about a bulk mining scenario, relatively low cost. What about stripping ratios on these different ones? Well, maybe it's too early to know that yet till you've drilled them out, obviously. But
yeah, it's a bit early. That will be provided during the mineral resource and then the subsequent economic study that would follow. Sprott Capital did some early research analysis on us, and Sprott has provided that publicly as a third-party type of notice. And their target, based on their independent review, and keep in mind this is not 43101 reporting yet, but it's an early indication, and they believe we're heading towards 2.4 million ounces that grades 1.7 grams. But that was not based on all the new drilling that's in progress right now. So we've got some credible, very reliable engineers and geologists who are reviewing this project, and we are now targeting up to 70,000 meters completed by the end of November this year. So
and that would go into your new resource estimate, that data.
That's right. So we've got approximately 50,000 meters of historical data, and that would be combined with over 70,000 meters of new data. So this is a comprehensive database with a lot of drilling assay information to be inserted within it.
When might the economics follow then? Maybe Q2 of 2021?
Correct, yeah. I would expect to see a scoping study follow directly after the resource, and Q2 would be our target time frame. So
you've got a very aggressive drill program underway. I think you said you'll be. How late can you drill up there? How long can you work?
We could actually drill year-round here. We're not quite set up. We're looking to install some more permanent infrastructure, but we will be able to drill into November this year.
And so we can look for drill results. We should be looking for drill results up through the end of the year, I think you were saying. So a constant flow then, perhaps, huh?
That's right. A constant flow of news into November and December. And then following that into next year, there'll be two big milestone moments where there's this large, robust mineral resource estimate and then an economic study to show that this indeed is a viable economic mine to be built.
Now, you're in the north central BC, and BC has had a lot of infrastructure improvement over the last couple of decades, right? How is the infrastructure there? Access is fairly good, and what? You got power? What do you have up there?
Yeah, access is very good, Jay. Because this has a history of mining some 30 years ago, the project is completely road accessible. If you look on some of our pictures within presentations and on the website, you can actually see trucks parked directly beside the drill rig. So there's no helicopter site or support required. But on top of that, we are 45 kilometers, roughly 30 miles away from the world-class Kemess gold-copper mine. And logically speaking, that could be a source of a tie-in point for electricity.
All right. So these are all...
It just shows that this... Yeah, it just shows that this really is a proven and prolific area with, Centerra's large Kemess mine nearby.
So you have... you're expecting to raise $21 million or more. The way things are going in this very, very strong market, I'm seeing a lot of companies raising more than they're setting out to raise. It's almost as if investors are eagerly giving money to mining projects, promising ones anyway. But do you have some money in the till now? So what will the $21 million do for you? How far will that take you?
We do. We are fully funded up to near 50,000 meters of drilling. So there's still just about $6.5 million sitting in our treasury. However, this financing would allow us to do several things. Increase the number of drilled meters, so move from 50,000 to 70,000 meters within a short time frame. But also allows us to start planning for 100,000 meters next year. So this funding that we're looking at concurrently as we speak allows us to plan ahead and advance this project into 2021.
Excellent. Well, I guess investors just need to keep their eyes open for drill results now. That's the big thing, right? That's the main thing that we should be watching for. The metallurgy has been checked. Yeah.
Yep.
Metallurgy,
drill results will come out in batches as we move forward here as they come from the lab. And I would expect some type of news flow, be it drill results or other, every 7 to 10 days.
Excellent. Well, that's what it takes in a very strong market as well. And wish you well. And, of course, I wish you well because I own your shares and on behalf of my subscribers as well and the listeners here that may be picking up some shares along the way. Jim, thank you so much for your time and for updating us on your story.
Yeah, very good, Jay. Look forward to chatting with you again with another update.